Alrighty, hello everyone. I'm Grant, that's Jared, and he's Tino. We're going to talk about Overwatch. First off, the launch experience, which was surprisingly a pretty smooth launch. I was present for the launch experience. I didn't try to log in right when the servers opened. I know, Tino, you were watching a Giant Bomb stream, is that correct?
Yeah, I watched it for a bit. It actually took maybe about 15 to 20 minutes before they actually got online. They're testing both on PC and PS4. They got on PC first. Didn't seem too bad though. Just a little bit of a hiccup right at the beginning.
Yeah, I know for myself, I waited about an hour before trying to log on, and that seemed to be the amount of time that they needed to get everything running smoothly. I had no hiccups, and I know, but Jared, by the time you got home, everything was smooth sailing, right?
Dude, this was probably the best Blizzard launch ever, right? I mean,
Definitely.
even the last few like Diablo seasons. Well, the most recent Diablo season was fine, but the ones before that, they've been having problems. Their servers just weren't ready for it. But man, like I don't know. I hope we can expect more out of this from Blizzard in the future. But they did have a whole bunch of like the betas, and they planned for this, right? They had their open beta weekend, and they knew what was coming. So they were
Well, I would
actually
hope
prepared
so.
this time. Yeah.
They had so many people in that open beta. I mean, they have to expect at least half the player base of the open beta, if not more.
Yeah, when you put a big sign up that says, "Hey, play me, I'm free," you're going to get everyone. And if even, like you said, half of the people bought the game and played it on launch day, then that would be a significant test. And I think I'd say they passed with flying colors, because I think we all remember like Diablo 3, the original launch for Diablo
Oh
3.
God.
Oh man.
Absolutely awful. I think that was days, multiple days before we got in there.
Yeah.
Was it worth it?
D- eh,
Thinking back on original Diablo.
yeah.
Eh,
Endgame was kind of fun.
yeah, after you played through the game 3 times to get there. But this
Yeah.
isn't about Diablo. Let's get back into Overwatch. Playing the game, I just gotta say it's a lot of fun. We're certainly going to talk about some things that we would tweak, but man, for this being Blizzard's first shooter, first console shooter, even though we're all playing on PC, I wouldn't say the balance is perfect, but this is way better than some of their other games.
Are we starting with balance? I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, let's just go into
Dude,
balance right away.
yeah, the balance is pretty good. It's weird. Like I'm not too familiar with a lot of these arena shooter type games, but this one does feel very comfortable. I mean, at first you're just like, "Oh, everything's overpowered because I'm getting one shot," but that's actually the nature of the game. And because of that, I feel like a lot of the characters are just fine. There are some ults that still feel a little bit weak, and some that are just too easy to hit. Like some of the characters are too easy to just pick up and be successful with. But I guess that's one of the main that's like one of the main advertisements of Blizzard games, right? Is that they're very easily accessible. And so as far as balance is concerned, that I think that they've definitely achieved that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in the quick match mode, there's been very few moments where I think, oh, that's bullshit. Why the fuck did I die to that? I mean, aside from maybe a ripped tire here or there, besides that, it hasn't been too bad. However, I don't know if you guys ever played the arcade mode. That's a different story completely.
I think
Played
that's
a few
designed
matches.
for jank.
Yeah, played a few matches, and they were just like May can just live forever because her cooldowns are so low that she's just constantly in that ice shield of hers, that ice block. But of course, that's just for fun. Yeah.
I think in the base game at least, just like the normal quick match, Mei is one of the best balanced characters. She has a little bit of everything, right? She has great defense, she has an offensive combo, she has ways to heal and defend herself, she can bait, she can be played on offense and defense. I mean, she can support the team, she can be a tank, she can be an assassin. She has so much. I think they've done an excellent job with that character specifically.
I think the character spread that we've seen so far has been excellent. There's no character where I just play match after match after match and I don't see them. There are some certainly that are more popular, and that has, I think, almost more to do with the design of the character than what they do. But there isn't a character where I've picked up, played them, and went, "This character's garbage."
A lot of people are saying that Zenyatta is garbage.
No.
But
No.
yeah, I don't think so actually. There's one match we had yesterday that was absolutely insane. That dude was carrying us because
I was just playing one. Yeah.
yeah, his
Where-
ultimate negates all the enemy ultimates, right? Anybody who's inside of his ultimate, like you can stand in a Reaper ultimate as long as you're getting Zenyatta'd. So I don't know. He's there. He's just really
Yeah.
soft.
And he hits like a truck. I mean, you get a Discord orb on somebody and hit him a few times with his
Yeah.
left click, they're gonna go down no matter what. It's like a semi-automatic, gun from a Call of Duty or something. You just need one or two shots in the head and they're down.
I'd say if anything, he's weaker to snipers than a lot of the other characters, just because he does have A, low health, and B, he has essentially no mobility. But yeah, like you said, if you play him in kind of that hybrid role where it's like, yes, he's a support, kind of, but really he can dish out the damage, and then his ultimate, like what everyone said, is just counter to so many others. Like stand in a dragon, don't give a shit. Stand in Genji's ult, don't give a shit. Doesn't matter because you have Zenyatta there with his transcendence going, I'm gonna heal all of you.
Yeah, on that note, and on the topic of balance, I feel like there are definitely characters who fill their role much better, and some of them don't feel like they really have that role, and they kind of require other characters to be powerful. Like, I think Lucio is by far the best support. He has so much more than Mercy. I mean, he can have better healing. He has burst healing, which is what this game is all about. There aren't too many dot characters, right? You go from 100 to 0 so fast. So his burst healing, it's either not going to do anything because you're dead, but Mercy wouldn't have helped that, or you take a big chunk and he heals you back up. And then he has the mobility, which Mercy also doesn't have, and he can do damage while he's healing, which Mercy also doesn't have.
Yeah.
And he's just, I think he outclasses all of the other supports. Mercy's close behind, but then, I mean, like Zenyatta, he's good, but you really rely on his ultimate to actually support your team. I mean, his healing is just kind of, as far as like defensive support. His healing is okay, but you have to be really close to them, and you have to have line of sight. And then who's the other one? Symmetra. If you get enough shields on your teammates, it's insane. You can spiral out of control with so many shields. But that's requires such a specific situation, and she can't carry the team from that support role where if you're on offense, she just shields everybody, like the other ones can. Similar to like Reinhardt and Roadhog. I feel like they're very, very strong frontline tanks, and really they're the only ones, right? But
Reinhardt definitely. I feel
Reinhardt,
like he's
yeah.
the best one. I mean, that shield is it lasts really long. It takes so much damage. Whenever I play Winston, I feel like I drop my shield and it'll pop immediately. Like it takes no damage to get rid of that thing.
I
Yeah.
really feel like both Roadhog and Winston kind of fall into that very kind of peculiar subset where double tank, if you play Zarya with one of those characters, both of those characters and Zarya all instantly become better, where I don't think she supports Reinhardt half as well as she supports those two.
Yeah, that's why I feel like Zarya doesn't really fit that tank role. She's more support, I think, than tank. Because well, I don't know, I guess it's subjective.
Well, her
But
shift is really good. I mean, that can take a lot of damage.
But I mean, her ultimate doesn't really help her, right? It's hard for you to secure kills even with that. And you require other people and yourself taking damage in order to actually do damage yourself. And then like you were saying with Winston, and same with Diva too, they aren't really frontline tanks in that sense. They don't block for your team. So like you kind of if you're on like a payload map, you kind of have to have a Reinhardt, right? Because how are you gonna push? How are you gonna push the payload without them?
Yeah.
So
He's
all
the
the
most
characters.
consistent way to defend against a Bastion or a Total.
Yeah, like in a
But on the
vacuum.
other side, something like Diva is stronger on a control point map because she can just clear people off the point. Even if you don't kill people with her ult, they're gonna run away from it. So they all are definitely strong characters and good roles, and I don't think Reinhardt's good in every situation. You're right, payload, absolutely. Something where you have to be mobile as a group, and you're not just fighting over the one spot, two spot. But I personally don't think any of the tanks are bad. Zarya doesn't have the crowd control that like a Roadhog does, but if you actually get her shield damage up, she dishes out a boatload of damage. That ultimate is really good for getting other people kills, and B, if you have full ammo, you can just pump 3 grenades into the center of that thing, you're gonna kill people.
Yeah, and that's just it. That's going back to what I was saying. I feel like some of the characters outclass the other ones. Where I don't feel like there's a bad character in the game, definitely. It's just some of them require specific setups or specific maps to be effective. where I don't know. I think that Roadhog and Reinhardt are great on every map. I don't think there's a map that they're bad on, just because they have so much health that they can face tank, they can body block, and they have good peel. And that's your job as a tank. Where how does Zarya peel?
Yeah, she's kind of meant to be a ranged tank. With the grenade launcher, the only problem I have with Zarya is her left click. It's so hard to gauge the distance that you don't know if you're close enough to hit someone. That's my only problem with her. Like, I love the grenade launcher, I love the shield aspects, shielding yourself, shielding allies, but I just wish there was an easier way for you to gauge if the enemy's within range of her left click.
I think that's a problem that this game has with a lot of things. It's hard to tell ranges on, for example, we were talking about Diva's ult, Reaper's ult. Where is the range on that? Where's the circle where that actually stops? Reaper does have kind of this fuzzy darkness thing that's going on around the base of his character, but it doesn't really tell you where that's hitting. And I think that's one of my main concerns. Well, not concerned, but it's an issue that I have with the game as it's young, is it's very hard to tell where those things hit for new players. Of course, as we play this game, as it goes on, we're going to figure this stuff out. I'm going to know exactly how far I need to be for a Reaper ult or a Zarya click or whatever. But when someone new comes into the game, those things are just kind of this weird, nebulous, is this going to hit me? Is this not going to hit me? Oh, I'm dead. So I guess I was in that.
Yeah, that was a big problem when I first started too, and I definitely see it being a problem for new players. And some of those things just aren't telegraphed very well, specifically the Diva ult. There's a very small shockwave that comes out of it that I only just recently noticed, like at the end of beta, and it's not apparent enough for you to say, oh, I got hit by that. I feel like I'm far enough away, but you can't tell. At least the Reaper ult, you die so quick from it, it's hard to tell. But there is some like smoke and shit on the ground, so you can kind of see that. But yeah, like other things, like Winston's electricity just from his left click, it's hard to tell if you're within range of that. And it kind of goes apeshit, no pun intended.
It's a weird problem for them to have, because Heroes of the Storm, for example, you use like Raynor's ultimate where he calls in the battle cruiser. There's a giant red circle that says, hey, this is where I'm firing.
Yeah, ground
Get
indicators.
Same thing with WoW. WoW has ground indicators, so it's like, all right, why'd you not do this here? I mean,
they did do it for some characters. Like Mei has it, and I mean that's part of it because she's throwing ice everywhere. But Transcendence from Zenyatta has it. It'd just be nice if it was across the board. Every AOE move had it just like that.
Yeah, but then they run into the well, AOE moves, yes, but then when you look at certain things like Mei's left click or Winston's left click, those can be targeted vertically. So you can't just have a targeter on the ground for something like that. You can't have a humongous box around the hitbox, right?
Yeah,
it's just a matter of like getting used to it, just understanding where the hitboxes are and where your hurtbox is.
Yeah, I think the circles are the more immediate problem, because like when we started playing, it was really hard to tell where a Diva ult was going to hit you and where it wasn't. And for me, it's still hard to tell distance wise. I mean, now I just know, okay, get behind something. Even if you get behind a box and crouch behind it, it's not going to hit you. But distance wise, I would really like them to put something on the ground, maybe just for the enemy team, not even for the team that throws it out, just so you know, like, hey, you're gonna get blowed up.
Yeah, Soldier 76 is actually an outlier. His heal has a humongous yellow circle around the perimeter. But I don't think... And then Mei's ultimate too. But then none of the other ones really have anything like that. But yeah, I think you guys are right.
I mean, I guess they're going with a very clean look, kind of transitioning now to the look of the game. Everything's very bright and colorful and animated. And I understand that they don't want to get into an issue where they have too much visual clutter, but I mean, it's an interesting problem to have. Yeah, because it's already there, and now
everything is so unique. I mean, every character is so unique. They're doing so many different things at once that you have to learn the language of the game. I mean, it's a part of the game. You have to know what high noon means, what it got you in my sights means. I mean, it's a part of the game.
Yeah, the audio design is a completely separate beast from the visual design, right? Yeah, and that's fantastic. They did such a good job on that. But as far as the visual design is concerned, there's just so much. It's hard to... I mean, there's so much going on, and just by the design of the characters, you'll never be able to tell exactly what hit you, right? Because a Hanzo is just going to scatter shot you, and then there's going to be 3 other people around you, so who knows what bullet tracked your face.
Except for, we do have the kill cams to tell us, okay,
I turned those off.
it was
Even then-
the Hanzo that aimed at the guy next to me and then hit me as I just kind of walked in front of it.
Yeah, I keep those on. You can see where the snipers are. And you can see that, oh shit, well, this guy wasn't even aiming for me, so I walked into that.
Well,
Yeah, and if someone kills you right after coming out of a teleporter, you want to know so you can tell your teammates, hey, teleporter in this building. That's why I leave it on, too.
that's true. That's true. You guys are turning me around.
Alright, yeah, you should turn that back on.
Also, speaking of the visual design, I mean, the fact that they have like red outlines for the enemies is a great thing. Because even if a sniper's really far away, you can see the faint red outline. You say, "Oh, hey, someone's up there." Whether you can get a shot on them or not, I mean, it's still better than nothing.
Yes, and Blizzard has always been excellent about creating very diverse silhouettes for their characters. Right, that's a big thing in character design, is just having powerful silhouettes. And you can look at the cast and you can tell from a distance. They don't have to have any color, there can be no shadows on it, it can just be an outline and you can tell which character it is right away.
Yeah, the character design is pretty amazing. I mean, there's nothing like it out there, honestly. Like, people would compare this game to Battleborn only because, the first person stuff. But I feel like even though they're the same game, this game just has something extra, that Blizzard charm, that Blizzard touch that we all know and love.
Some of the characters have that. I do feel like a lot of the characters are kind of bare bones and just like generic, just stereotypical.
Oh, like who?
Like Reaper, for one. He's
wow.
he's just like emo kid with a skull mask, and then he takes his mask off, and then he's mariachi Mexican man. There's nothing unique about him. Same with Genji, he's just robot ninja, right? And Soldier 76 too. He's just generic soldier dude with a faceplate.
Yeah, but I mean, those are the characters that, casual quote unquote people will gravitate towards. They're the stereotypical, hey, get behind you, shotgun you, or run forward and shoot you with my freaking SM or my assault rifle. They're kind of there for the people that are coming from other type of games.
Yeah,
Whereas
you can see the character
them,
and know what they do.
Yeah, I feel like the rest of the characters that are a bit stronger in their design are for people maybe like us that enjoy actual character, not just like stereotypes, I guess.
I mean, Reaper was a character that like Chris Metzen scribbled in his notebook as a kid when he was 12 and just held on to it. He's like, I'll use this later. This is going to be my masterpiece. And even I'm actually kind of laughing about that because I actually read a story where Soldier 76 actually ended up like that. Soldier 76 was designed for a different game that just never came to light.
Was it Titan?
No, this is predating Titan.
Oh.
And I don't remember if it was. I don't remember if it was for a game or if it was just for just art for art's sake and character design. But yeah, he actually has come from something else, which is interesting. But he is designed to be bland. Soldier 76 is he's supposed to be vanilla. He's supposed to be your shoot man's guy.
Yeah. Who do you guys think is the coolest designed character? Not the best design, just the coolest designed.
Oh, that's super tough.
That's hard. Yeah, that's hard. I mean, for myself personally, I really like Lucio, and I really like Mei. I mean, see, I'm thinking of it as, a character design that comes along with the gameplay. Like Lucio, he's exactly what you want out of a mobile medic. He moves fast, and he looks like it. Like he's a guy on rollerblades, and he's gonna heal you with his beats.
Heal you with his beats, yeah. Yeah, you can tell he's some reggae dude, and yeah, just the visual design. It's very reminiscent of Jet Set Radio.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For me, I actually think one of my favorites is Farah, and that's probably because I have a huge Samus bias for female characters in full armor that just kick ass. But again, looking at her design, it has a very avian look to it. The armor, that character is gonna fly.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
Mine are definitely Mei. I think it's cool to have the Mr. Freeze chick, and then Mercy, of course, my favorite. Just because
You're
Mercy.
only.
Yeah, my only Mercy or AFK. That's how I roll. But
Although,
Mercy's got like that Valkyrie look, which they don't do too frequently. Even in games like Titanfall, you know, where they're like, oh, we're gonna do this kind of style of it. No, they don't really do much like that. Where she's just wearing like this exoskeleton, and she's got a staff, a little spear that blasts you with heals. I think it's cool.
yeah, I think my second favorite is probably Roadhog.
Roadhog is a unique
Yeah.
fat guy, right? They usually when they go for like post-apocalyptic kind of armors, like that's just like scraps that are put together and random pieces of plate and repurposed machinery. They go for like skinny guys like Junkrat, but I think Roadhog they definitely did a fucking great job with that. And his tattoos and his hook and yeah, it's cool. He's got one
Yeah,
spike.
He's also a big character that isn't played like for comedy. Like, yeah, there were some funny things in there in the comics with he and Junkrat is humorous. He doesn't actually talk at all in the comics, but he talks a lot in game, which is kind of a disconnect. But he's this very kind of serious character. He talks about himself being the apocalypse. He's not quite like Reaper Grimdark because he still does have lines in there about, say bacon one more time. But yeah, that's a great design. And he has some of the most fun alts. He has like the Mako Shark alt. That thing's great.
Yeah, that's really funny. Some of those alternate costumes are really sick, but then some of them some of them really fall flat.
Emo
Like the pre-order
Zarya
ones.
falls flat super hard.
Emo Zarya, yeah, that one's really basic.
Yeah, like the devil-looking ones too. There's like a devil one for Mercy. There's a devil one for Widowmaker. I don't know. Those ones detract from the silhouette. They look flat.
Widowmaker's is especially weird because like you get to her second alt, which is like the almost like French, like the Marquis Widowmaker sort of thing. And all of a sudden her skin color changes. She has normal air quotes that you can't see skin color, and she just looks wrong.
Interesting.
Yeah, how did she get purple skin? I wish that was explained.
I've not fallen that far down the Overwatch wiki yet.
Yeah.
Give me a day, it'll happen.
They'll fanfic retcon it, and then there'll be something in
Yeah,
there.
I mean,
Give it a
that's
week.
actually really interesting. Looking at all the characters, she's the only one that has purple skin.
Yeah, apparently she was brainwashed, so maybe she was experimented on. And I'm not sure if maybe they gave her the tattoo of her own name at that time, or maybe she made that terrible decision herself.
Dude, so moving on to the audio design, because we were talking about that a bit ago, and that's one of the strongest aspects of this game that I think goes unrecognized.
Audio design often goes unrecognized, which is a damn shame. But yes, it is very strong in Overwatch.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys knew this, but did you know that the hit scan or the hit sound is actually a beer bottle being opened in reverse?
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
Reddit
great.
tells all. Yeah, it's very clever. They can use anything for sound design. But man, because there's so much happening visually, they realize that they have this great opportunity to make something interesting happen on the audio side and to give you tells. Because as far as I know, like no game really does that. No competitive game does that with the audio. Like Gigantic's starting to do that, but nothing else goes this far as to tell you when the enemies are using their ultimates, tell you when certain events are happening, like a portal's up, or that you need to push the payload. So the characters do their communicating by themselves. Left 4 Dead did something like that,
Yeah,
grab and peels. But that was the extent of it. It was just silly stuff. But this game is mostly, you don't have to communicate with your teammates because the characters do it themselves for the most part.
Also, there's never a moment when you hear gunfire, you know who it is. You know who the character is, like immediately.
Yeah, and footsteps too. There's very distinct footsteps that I constantly hear when I'm healing, and I just freak out because I know that there's a McCree coming for me. I can hear his spurs jangling, and I'm like, oh man, please, person I'm healing, turn around.
Honey.
Yeah, please, Bastion. Please, Bastion, turn around. I'm healing you. Please turn around.
Yeah, I would say
And
this is
then,
probably one of the few games where if you didn't play with sound, you would be at a huge disadvantage because I mean,
Absolutely.
there's no way you would know what's coming in the next minute or hell, next 10 seconds. I mean,
yeah. And watching all these
everything is
people
told.
on Twitch who are playing with their own music and they blast it, right? And then there's like notifications, like subscriber and donation notifications, and you can't hear at all what's going on in the game, and they just get obliterated. This sound design is so strong and so important for the gameplay.
A lot of times I'll have YouTube running in the background, or I'll be listening to a podcast or something. I'll be watching a Let's Play, and with this game, I don't, because I need all that information.
Yeah, me too. I can't do it. I'm used to doing that for other games, especially Blizzard games, right? Where you just kind of zone
Yeah,
out.
definitely.
Not this one. This one's very different. That's good though. I hope Blizzard does this more, and I hope other games do this a lot more too.
Yeah, because I mean, I would say a lot of the other Blizzard games you could play. I mean, at least the games that we play, Overwatch, or I mean, Heroes of the Storm, Diablo, you can play with music and get everything visually. But this is they're probably one of their first few games where you actually have to pay attention to every aspect, visual and audio.
I'm playing Diablo. I think I have like 3 movies and a soundtrack going at the same time because I don't need any other parts of my brain.
Yeah, it's the only way to keep you awake when you're grinding for pets
Yeah, when
on
you
our
get hooked on
goblin
that.
tours. Yeah.
So I mean, as far as we've talked about the game. Obviously, we do like it. What are some things, kind of going back to gameplay for a moment, and or actually just overall? What are some things that you guys would improve? Like, what changes would you like to see to the gameplay, or the audio, or the visual, or whatever?
Tino, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, for myself, I just like to see the roster filled out. It's kind of a shame that they only have 4 supports. I would love them to, equal it out, get 6 in there, add another tank, so that way we have 6 across all the roles. I mean, and I mean, we know that they're coming. They've put in little Easter eggs of other characters in the cinematics, so they're eventually going to come out. I would hope, but
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully that's what's coming on the horizon is more characters because that's what I'm looking forward to. I want to meet who else is going to be in this game.
Yeah, I need to parrot that response like we were talking about earlier. They need more, at least one other dedicated healer. Because the shields that the other ones get, and like, I don't know, Zenyatta's heal, it's just not reliable. Symmetra's shields. I mean, Symmetra's shielding can be replaced by Torb, but I would like to definitely see a dedicated healer and also another dedicated tank who can frontline. But another thing is, I think that some of the ultimates are just too easy to hit. Some of the skills are just too easy. You just left click and then it's over. That's the thing about Soldier, right? Is that he's easy to pick up and be successful with. But things like Bastion, who is already easy to just target, and then he goes into tank mode, and then he just shoots into a room. The explosion on that, I mean, you're going to hit somebody with it. And then Hanzo has his scatter shot, and he can use it so frequently. And then his dragons too. It's entirely too easy to hit some of those things. Whereas, like, you look at Widowmaker, who is a sniper, right? You're supposed to have good aim. I mean, she's rewarding to play, and she's not even marked as a hard character. But then you have Bastion, who's, I don't know, I just feel like some of the skill shots don't require any skill. It's not actually a skill shot. It's just, you press a button, and then everyone dies.
I would argue against you on Hanzo's ultimate just because there is such a long windup on it. It doesn't travel all that quickly, and it can be reflected if someone's right up on top of him. Genji can hit his arrow back at him before the dragon comes out.
Yeah, everything can be reflected. That's like
Uh,
the beads argument from Smite, right? Or like cleanse from any MOBA. It's everything can be countered with cleanse. But you can't say that, or
True.
like a trinket from WoW, right? Everything can be countered, but it's
But I mean, there's no ultimate to bring up the MOBA aspect. Smite, for example, has an ultimate on one of their characters where there's a character that flies up into the sky and hits everyone on the playing field, just does flat damage, and it is easily the most boring ult in that game. There's nothing like that in Overwatch. Even the things that are maybe too easy to hit still require you to do something.
yeah, you do have to aim everything. That is true. There's no globals that hit everybody. But even then, Hanzo has the 2 dragons, and I always think that I can go through the dragons, or one of them spiraling around, and I'm not even close to the fucking dragon, but I'm still within the hitbox, and there's no indicator for it.
Yeah. You can get hit a little bit far out from the 2 dragons. It's kind of deceptive in that way.
Yeah, and then Reaper's ultimate too. I know these are things that a lot of new players complain about, but there's good reason for it. Is because it's just there's hardly any risk and there's such a high reward for these things. When other characters like Tracer's ultimate, right? I think Tracer's a pretty well balanced character overall because she has low health, but you can use all of your utility to get around. And if you miss your stick on your ultimate, then the enemy has enough time to run away if they react quick enough. If a Reaper's on top of you, you're dead. There's nothing you can do. You're fucking dead unless you kill him first. So you have a split second to kill him. Same with Bastion. I mean, if a Bastion comes around the corner and he's a tank, he doesn't even have to hit you. He can hit the wall next to you, you're dead. So things like that, I just feel like they need to add a little bit more skill to it. Just reduce the radius on it a little bit or something.
With something like a Reaper ult, I mean, that character's all about positioning. I have a hard time complaining about his ultimate just because if someone is actually keeping an eye out for a Reaper, that Reaper can get shut down pretty hard. He is going to destroy people who don't see him. If you don't notice the Reaper, he just killed your team.
Yeah, it takes one moment for him to get behind you, and there goes your healer, there goes your turrets, there goes your team.
Yeah, but the same can be said for Genji. If you don't recognize the Genji, he's going to obliterate everyone on your team. But he's much harder to get in. You have to be much more patient with him. He doesn't really have a teleport. His mobility is reliant on walls. And he has a deflect that helps him get in, sure, but he can't teleport behind. His ultimate requires you to actually get into melee, and you actually have to target the person that you're attacking, and then you do major damage to them. It's just some of the characters, just the skill floor is so low that you can roll your face across the keyboard and you can succeed. I think they need to up the skill floor a little bit on some of those characters.
Do you think we're going to see Reapers in competitive play?
Dude, absolutely. I think that we will see Reapers in competitive play because he can teleport, right? He can get behind snipers. So he's such a hard counter to certain characters and any map with a central location where people have to stack, you're going to see a Reaper.
I don't know. I personally, I think if you have a team that's really working together and is communicating, I don't think Reaper's anywhere near the threat he is to public games. I mean, yes, that can be said for all characters, of course. My complaints are actually, so there's a lot of people complain about Bastion, and I'm about to join. I'm gonna hop on this bandwagon.
I just think it's the radius on the explosions on his ultimate. I think the rest of the character is okay. So what do you have to say?
I think in turret mode he shouldn't be able to headshot.
Oh yeah, that's right. We were talking about that before.
And yeah, I mean, because his damage output, even without headshots, is pretty nuts. It just factor in that he can, that the spray on that is a fairly tight cone. So you just kind of aim for the upper half of someone's body, and you're going to get a few headshots in there. And I think a lot of the complaints about Bastion would be toned down quite a bit if that element of his damage was toned down. Other than that, I think it's probably fine. Like you said, the radius on the tank shot, it certainly might be a bit much. I don't know how much, because everything in this game that explodes has direct hit damage and it has splash damage. So maybe it's just actually keep the radius what it is, but tone down the splash damage, have it drop off quicker. Because I know something like Junkrat, his grenades, I believe they do 80 damage on a direct hit, but if he doesn't direct hit with them, they do less. And if it's, you're at the edge of the radius on that explosion, they do far less.
Yeah. Bastion has a little robo penis on his back too when he's in turret mode.
Yeah.
And you get auto crits on it. Or like auto headshots or something. Yeah, it's a glowing little blue knob. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool. I don't know if any other characters have that. I think it just counts as his head, maybe, when he's in turret mode. So you get guaranteed headshots on it. Is that what it is?
I don't know, I kind of like to be able to just shoot right down the turret face,
barrel,
whatever it is.
Yeah. The turret face, yeah.
Turret face. Get him right in the turret mouth.
Speaking of headshots, actually, D.Va's head is a little bit too big as well. It's so hard to not headshot D.Va when she's in her mech. It's like the entire glass area and then more is her head, right? The entire area surrounding it. And she's supposed to be a tank, and her cooldowns are pretty long, all things considered.
Yeah.
And so
Her
she
E,
can.
her E is on a fairly long cooldown, and then without it, I think she's pretty weak. Her left click does little damage, unless they're right up on you. But if they're right up on you, you're probably going to get knocked out of your mech.
Yeah, it's 10 seconds, 10-second cooldown on her E. And that doesn't seem like long, but in a Twitch game like this, that's a very long time. And so when it's down, you're going to get headshot. If somebody's aiming towards you, it's like more likely than not that you will get headshot.
Well, this is something we were talking about before with Diva, is like, what role does she actually fill? If she's supposed to be a frontliner, then I really think that E needs to change in some way. I don't necessarily think it needs to be like Reinhardt's shield. I think that's probably going to be too strong if it's also charging her ult and just completely absorbing projectiles and everything else. But yeah, you're right. You use that ability, and then all of a sudden her ability to be a tank has diminished significantly.
I think she's really well for helping assassins get around. When you need to flank, that's what you use Diva for. She's a fucking sick flank tank. Because you can just go in with your E, right? If they know you're coming, then that's fine. You're a tank. Go in with your E, your assassin can clean up. It's no problem. They just waste all the bolts on you. But yeah, once the E is down, because it's 3 seconds out of every 10.
Yeah, I guess maybe she's more of a push in and then disrupt tank. Because I mean, if you were to use the boosters right after her E, then you could push people around and get out. Hopefully, if you're doing it right.
Yeah, and then does she even fall into the tank role because she can't peel, right? I feel like a tank should be able to peel for the team.
Well, if we're going off of that role, we really only have one tank, or excuse me, two tanks that have crowd control, one of which you have to auto jettison yourself into extreme danger if you're going directly into the team.
Yeah,
The
and
other pulls
Reinhardt's
people
ultimate.
to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. His ultimate is so goddamn strong, too.
Yeah. I don't know. They have much easier time defending their team, even by body blocking. And so Diva's head is kind of a weird situation. But everyone else has mostly the same size head, right? I think even Winston has the same like head hitbox, as far as I can tell. Even though he's got a big old noggin.
I don't
Or
know.
it's close.
It seems like I'm able to snipe him pretty easily, but you're right. Diva's way easier.
What about a character like Farah? She has the helmet. Do you have to shoot her right in the face, or can you like shoot at the back of her head and that still counts?
No, head still counts.
Okay, all right, that's cool.
Side, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Anywhere in that noggin.
I guess we didn't really talk about what characters that we've been playing the most and what we gravitated towards. I mean, I know, Jared, you play Mercy exclusively.
Exclusively, only Mercy.
Exclusively, yeah.
Yes, only Mercy.
Mercy Watch.
If you ever find SoFetch in a game, just give it up to him.
Yeah, if I'm not playing Mercy in game, come to my stream and tell me to play Mercy.
Except you won't need to actually do that because you'll already be playing Mercy.
Yeah, exactly. No, eventually I'll end up playing Lucio. I do think he's a better support.
Yeah, I really think you like him a lot. I think he's the best support, like you said. Like his mobility, his ult, just everything works together so well.
I think if you were able to keep whatever aura you just had for a split second when you switched over from one to another, Jared would have already been there. We would have said the words aura twisting, and it's like, oh, done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they had a bard, dude, oh man. I guess he's kind of the bard, right? He's got the music and the auras and stuff, but like...
Yeah, he's
like
the support DJ. He is the modern day bard.
Yeah. Mercy is just the most satisfying character in the game for me. And plus I'm not too mechanically, or like... Not mechanic, I guess aim inclined. I suck at aiming. I'm bad at it. I still get kills occasionally, but most of the time I just want to put my beam on somebody, and then I want to be able to avoid shots, and I want to be able to fly between people and keep my team alive, because that's what I'm good at. And then, I mean, I can push the payloads when that's happening, I can keep people from capping points while that's happening, I can give people more damage, and I like being able to do that, being able to switch back and forth between healing and damage, and just being able to be like the ultimate pocket healer. I think Mercy is fucking sick, and I know she's very similar to the medic from TF2, but I think I like her ultimate better, being able to bring somebody back. It's so much more valuable in this game than being able to go immune.
It's really valuable.
Yeah, I mean, even if you just res one person, I think that's better than the Uber in this game. On payload,
Yeah,
maybe
that's
it's
a
a
full
little
health
bit
person.
different, but yeah, it's a full health person who you get to bring back who doesn't have to wait for the res.
Maybe they have an ult that they can throw down. I mean, it could change a match, definitely.
Yeah, it encourages, yeah, exactly. It encourages you to play better as Mercy. It encourages better positioning instead of just running out into the fray. It encourages your entire team to be better at positioning.
Tino, who are the characters that you've been playing more than others? I know you and I both basically have flipped around the entire cast, but
Yeah.
which ones are you gravitating towards?
I would say that I like a lot of the characters. I mean, there's not a character that I've played that I'd say I hated. I've definitely gravitated a lot towards Hanzo. I mean, design. I love having the ability to scope out people with his sound arrow, and then you can drop some geometric shots on him. He's got a really fun, different twist to sniping. Whereas, Widowmaker is just traditional sniping. Hold down right click, put it on somebody's head, shoot.
Yeah, he's considered a sniper, right? Because every
Yeah.
time the little pop-up comes up, needs snipers, and then somebody picks a Hanzo and it goes away.
Yeah, I mean he's really interesting because he can do really good in the mid range, but he's also really good at long range. Whereas Widowmaker definitely she doesn't only excel, but she excels at long range. And I mean, other characters, Winston's great. I mean, even though I feel his shield is kind of weak, I love being able to just jump in and mess with people. He's also great at defending healers. Like when I play with Jared, if there's Reaper, I mean, I can turn and just left click and hold it in his direction instead of having to actually aim. Because I mean, just like Jared, I'm pretty shitty at aiming sometimes too. But yeah, I mean, Winston, Zenyatta. I would say Zenyatta is my favorite support. He's a little weak, but I think that's just his health pool. I think that's the only problem with Zenyatta.
He's a
put on the
support.
hurt.
Yeah, he's a support that needs a team to support him. Whereas,
Yeah, I would agree.
at least with Mercy, your health starts regenerating a little bit. At least with Symmetra, you can put a shield on yourself. At least with Lucio, you're always healing yourself, and you can speed up. He has mobility. But yeah, Zenyatta is a support that needs his team to support him.
When Zenyatta has an orb on someone, don't they both get healed?
I do believe so. I know you do get health back in like a blue bar. Not sure if that's a shield or if that's just
Oh yeah, he's
healing.
like 90% shield, and he has 10% health.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but I mean, besides his health pool, I feel like he's really strong. Like if you get some headshots with his left click, he does some damage, especially when you get that Orb of Discord. Find a Bastion, throw an Orb of Discord on him, and just hit him a couple times. He will fucking run. He does not want to deal with that.
Yeah, he can kind of shred tanks with that, which is pretty cool. He's a very interesting character. I mean, I don't know if he's bad, he requires a specific setup. Yeah, no characters are really bad. Alright, what about you, Grant? What do you like to play?
Definitely for assault, like for going on offense, Pharah and Soldier 76. I know Soldier 76 is boring, but that heal comes in so handy on capture point maps.
Your Soldier's pretty sick. He plays differently than... You play Soldier differently than a lot of other people I see. Because you play him kind of like a frontline assassin, where you just get in there and you go around and you fuck people's day. And then you heal up around a corner, and then you continue doing the same thing. A lot of other people play Soldier like Call of Duty, which I think how the character is designed to be played, right? You just run down the middle, and you shoot, 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 and then heal. Then run down the middle again, and shoot, shoot, shoot. And that's how his ultimate is designed. But yeah, you like to go around the backside. You like to hit it from behind.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, along those same lines, I don't like Reaper. You would think, since I play Soldier 76 like a budget Reaper, that I would like Reaper. I don't. Just because of the range thing. With Soldier 76, you can do some fun stuff with aiming to get your aim down a little bit better. The longer you hold down the button when you're firing with him, the wider the cone goes. So about your first your first 3 shots are pretty much right where your mouse is. And even then, first 5 shots or so are pretty much there. So if you fire in bursts, kind of, hold down the button for half a second, let go, hold down the button for half a second, you can get some really long range, good shots in there. Again, Pharah, of course, I love shooting alt fire and hitting people off of things. It's one of the most satisfying things in the game to send someone flying off the edge.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
As Lucio, that's my favorite feeling.
Absolutely.
That's everyone's favorite feeling. That's why people play Lucio. Not to heal or support, just so that they can grind on walls and so they can knock people into the pit on a couple
Yeah,
of those levels.
exactly. Other than that, I've been playing a lot of Widowmaker. I do like the more traditional sniper. Um, Having a hit scan snipe is a lot easier for me than Hanzo's bow and arrow. I realized that you can get headshots from a much wider range with his bow and arrow, but and the damage is really good at mid range, like what Tino was saying. But for me, I like the mobility that Widowmaker has with her grappling hook thing, because you can use it to get up places, or if you're kind of in a position where you're near a health pack and someone's bearing down on you, you just turn around, you grapple back behind that health pack, you drag yourself through it and get the hell out. So I really like playing her, and then Junkrat, or excuse me, Roadhog rounds it out for me. I keep messing those two up, and like I know they're supposed to be like the Timon and Pumbaa of this game, but I keep messing them up anyway.
That's a good analogy, yeah.
But yeah, I hooking people is the best. It's such a great feeling. And then yeah,
That's actually
kind of
one of the few characters I haven't played. I don't know why.
I don't know
He
why
has
either.
so much
He's
health,
great.
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
600 health. His self healing is either 100 or 150. It's something like that. You could basically do it in someone's face if they're not a damage character. Oh, I've got Tracer here. Oh, I don't care. Huff my paint and get my health back. As far as supports go, I know both of you have been playing supports with Mercians and Nadia. They haven't resonated with me. I will play Symmetra on defense. I will be absolutely awful with turret placement. I am basically just there to shield people and get the teleporter up.
Hey, you did all right that last match we played a little bit ago.
I blind fired just balls where I think people are going to be, and I ended up getting
Balls
a
of
double or
steel.
triple kill that I put down my ult. It was the most boring play of the game that I've seen in a while. It was my own play of the game, and I'm shitting on it.
You haven't seen those Torb play the games where he's just running down a hallway.
Now the best is when it's play of the
Front page
game
of
and he's
Reddit.
dead.
Yeah. Alright, so what do you guys think? We should just shotgun off the rest of the characters and the maps real quick? Okay.
I mean, we pretty much just, unless you have something specific that you want to add, those I just kind of wanted to talk about what our favorites were. That there's your 1, my 4, Tino's 3, but like, what else you got to say?
Well, what do you guys think of Genji? How do you think he plays? We haven't really talked too much about him.
I really haven't touched him. Like, he's another one.
He's up there with Reaper for me, with characters where it's like, oh man, that guy is tearing through the group, and then I play him and it's like, oh man, I'm made of tissue.
Yeah, I feel like he's really like he does need some skill to play, and I feel like I don't have that skill, so I just stay away from him completely.
Yeah, he's unforgiving. You have to be very patient. You have to be a ninja with him. But it pays off if you wait, if you're patient.
The best thing with Genji is hearing the enemy go, it's high noon, and then you just jump out from around the corner, stand in front of it, and be like, do it, do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty sick. That's cool that he has that counter. Is that he can counter just about any damn ultimate in the game. What about McCree? McCree's stun is kind of fucking insane. That's another thing,
really
man.
strong.
He doesn't have to aim it. He can throw it in your general direction. If you are within his 103 degree peripheral, then you are getting hit by it. No, not that severe, but man, he does not have to aim that thing, and then he can just fan the hammer. But he's slow as fuck, so I think it's pretty well balanced.
It is. They nerfed his fan the hammer shortly before launch. He used to recover a lot quicker after fanning the hammer, and I think toning that down, he's still in a good spot. He does exactly what he needs to. He gets around there, gets a stun in, fans the hammer once, maybe does a roll, fans the hammer again. I just got caught so off guard by that. And yeah, he's in there. He's where he should be. Again, I like other characters that have a similar playstyle better. 76.
Yeah. Alright, Farah, we kind of talked about Rockets. What do you guys think about her mobility?
It's awesome. It feels so good to just go all the way up in the sky. Like, you press shift, you're up in the air, you can just rain down death for a minute.
It's the right mechanic for this game, right? Having fuel. She has the perfect amount of fuel to get herself up and away from things, and she can travel across the map, but it's not so much that she's always in the air. It's perfect.
Yeah, her ult is well designed. It does a ton of damage. It does a good area, but you aim up at her and, shoot her, she's dead.
She's
So,
vulnerable, yeah.
yeah.
The missiles have a nice size hitbox too. It's like you can actually avoid them if she's far away. Okay, Reaper we already talked about. Soldier we talked about. Tracer. Tracer's, I think, one of the best balanced characters. I think she requires the perfect amount of skill for the amount of success that you can get out of her. Because she's soft. She's really squishy. And if you get the jump on her, she's fucking dead. But she has great mobility, and you have to use that to your advantage. You have to be able to get behind. And if you suck at aiming, you're not going to be able to unload her clips into somebody and actually kill them.
Yep.
Because you got a headshot for most of your clip, for like all of your clips on somebody for most of the cast in order to kill them. And if you don't do that and you can't teleport back, you use it to engage, and you're fucked.
Yeah, I feel the same about Genji as I do her. Like, I steer away from her just because I know it's going to take a lot more skill to be successful with her.
Fun fact about Tracer and Roadhog, who we talked about earlier. Little trick with Roadhog is that you can do the right-click fire to launch the ball and then chain, and it will pull someone into that ball, and it does great damage. With Tracer, you have to do that. You cannot chain her and then shoot afterwards, because if Tracer has her E up, you can actually hold E while you're getting pulled, and it will immediately blink her out of existence the moment she gets to the character. So
Oh,
she
that's sick.
completely avoid the shotgun blast.
Alright, Bastion we talked about, Hanzo we talked about, Junkrat we kind of went a little bit into. I think he has one of the most interesting ultimates.
Yeah, he's a character that's fun to play. Like, if you told me, like, before this game came out and before I played the beta, that, like, oh yeah, you're really gonna like the demo man equivalent, I would have told you shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
me
mean,
too.
I agree. I think Junkrat's, he's really fun. He's got, he's got the concussive mine, he's got the trap. He's really good on single point, capture, because you draw people into that bear trap, and it's a free kill.
And I think that's cool that he has that trap. He has the setups. And he just like you can lob your bullets over walls, and he can siege people, and he just does so much area damage without being like an AoE character with circles. I think they did an excellent job with that. It's really fun.
Yeah,
One day, I hope to stop dying to martyrdom.
Yeah, dude. It's so funny. That character's awesome. All right, Mei. We got to talk about Mei a little bit more, because man, this character is
That
so
booty.
sick. Yeah, oh, that booty. Man, Mei is entirely too much fun for what she is.
she's one of my favorites. I would agree.
Two Meis is one of the best two character comps that you can get. Right? A lot of them, it's like overkill, or it's just not enough. Like when you have two Reinhardts just with a shield, it's silly, but they can't do much. Two Meis is unfair, because no matter what you do, you're gonna get frozen, and then you're fucking dead.
Yeah.
Like her right click maybe has a little bit too much range, but it does have a little bit of a charge time too. But other than that, I think her wall is one of the best mechanics in the game. And you
Her
can turn
right
it.
click is so strong.
It's
I've taken
really strong.
down widows from so far with that. I mean,
Yeah.
if they're not paying attention, you line it up, you can noggin them quick.
Torbjorn is the same way. His rivet launcher, or whatever the hell he has, you can take out snipers in about 3 or 4 shots, and thanks to travel time, you can probably get about 3 shots off before the first one connects. So
Yeah.
they don't have a whole lot of time to actually react.
Yeah, I think Torb's turrets are, I don't know, man. The turrets just feel a little bit out of place in this game. I mean, it's cool to have, and everybody loves the engineer, but it's just the turret. The range on it is so long for some of the maps. You can put it in a spot where you have so much vision, and it can be hidden. Like we were playing the other day, I don't remember which map it was, but he had it in the back corner somewhere, and every time we would go up to the point, it would obliterate you. Just the range on it is, I don't know. It covers
Yeah.
so much area with just that one character, and he doesn't have to be near it for it to be effective.
It's interesting where, like, he's one of those characters where the experience you have playing the TF2 equivalent almost does not come into play. So if you're playing the engineer in TF2, a lot of times you would put your turrets like around corners and things like that, so people would run past them and just get immediately blown up. Because they had super short range, you had to put them somewhere where people are going to go by them. That's not the case with Torb. He can, put his turret just about anywhere a bastion would set down, and have almost the range that the Bastion does. It's a little nuts, and it's interesting that Molten Core is almost effectively an uber charge for his own turret. He can. It's not completely invulnerable, but man, it gains so much health.
Yeah.
Speaking of Molten Core, what's up with that? Like, why is it called Molten Core? We all think
Blizzard.
of WoW. I mean,
'Cause
yeah,
Blizzard.
exactly.
That's why Blizzard.
But I just feel like it's out of place because you immediately think of WoW. At least I do.
Okay, he goes all red and glowy, and it's this. He shoots like molten rivet. Like what else are you gonna call it?
Hell dive. I don't know, some shit like that.
All right, Widowmaker. We talked about her a little bit. Anything else to say?
Nope, she's cool.
Yeah,
she can make fart gas grenades.
Yep, good sniper.
Mind.
Diva. Anything else? Her ultimate is fun. I think it's cool that she exposes herself to do massive damage.
Oh, you don't have to. You can do the dash and then jump out of it. And it'll keep flying.
Yeah, but you're not in the mech anymore.
Yeah.
So, young, tender Diva, the character, is out running around. Reinhardt.
I'm super upset about Diva's coloration. Why don't we have more references to Evangelion? Why don't we have a purple and green mech suit with like a Ray plug suit? Like, why, Blizzard? You dropped the ball. Your anime references are right there.
You know it's coming.
All right, Reinhardt. We talked a little about him. I think his E is it's like a sleeper amazing skill. It's got crazy range and insane damage, and he can aim it up. And I don't see anybody try to pick me off with it ever. Like, I just stand above enemy Reinhardts, and they look at me, and they don't do anything. I mean, they could easily pick me off playing Mercy with that. I think that's underrated, man. That's a sleeper killer right there.
Reinhardt is a character where I feel like people are autopiloting him. Tino and I were just playing a match before we recorded this, and we saw a Reinhardt who just put up a shield, and that's it. Like, didn't matter who else was around. If it was like 1v1, him versus another player, shield up. Like, dude, you have a giant hammer. Nope, shield up. You have an ult, shield up. What about your eat shield up? All right, fine.
Yeah. What about Roadhog? His ultimate is very interesting. That's another thing that requires absolutely zero skill. But I think it's cool that it has the knockback, and you can combo it. Well, you just push people into a wall with it, right?
Yeah, and then
you just go crazy with it. I think that's fun. I think it's pretty cool.
The range is super deceptive because he can push people back from pretty far away, but it does like butt damage at that range.
Yeah, he can't do anything else while he's in his ultimate too. So he can, he's vulnerable as long as you're not standing in the front. He can't move around, he can't heal, he can't hook, he can't interrupt people. He moves really slow, so I think that's pretty cool.
Right, yeah.
Winston, his bubble is on a little bit too long of a cooldown, but it's harder to break than some of the other shields too. And he's a crazy assassin killer. Like,
I think his ult is really weak. I feel like it's Roadhog's ult, but a lot more. Yeah, it's a lot more skill based, I would guess. Yeah, like it's nice that you get the health boost. That's really useful. But I think it needs a little bit more damage on it.
His ultimate turns him into a different playstyle, where most of the other characters maintain their same playstyle when they ultimate, or it's similar. But he goes from being like anti-assassin, right, where if you jump into the backline and you murder the healers, or you murder their squishies, or you stay in your team's backline and you prevent ganks, and then he does that, and then he just becomes super hyper offensive, where he's just like destructing instead of picking off the weak targets. I don't know. It's maybe we just haven't seen anybody like utilize his ultimate in the proper way yet, but I haven't seen anybody do it.
I'd really like to see the ultimate change the dynamics of his shift a bit. I'd love to be able to jump on people and have the jump do damage just during the ultimate.
It does do damage.
Yeah, it does. Where you land.
Oh, does it not do much? Because it didn't seem like it was doing
It's hard
much.
to hit with it, with lag and everything. Okay. Yeah. It's not a humongous area. It does do a pretty good chunk of damage, though.
Oh, I must suck.
No. Yeah. Alright, Zarya, we talked about her a bit. She's pretty cool. The shield mechanic, where it buffs her when other people and yourself take damage, I I like that. I wish there was more in the game that was like that. You don't want to punish the enemy for doing damage to you, though. Mechanics like Thorns from WoW, you really don't want to do that because you're going to end up doing splash damage and stuff, but something like this, where the player actually has to react to it, where, yeah, by attacking, you're buffing the enemy, not hurting yourself. I think that's very well designed. Because then Zarya actually have to...
You know when Zarya is bubbled. Like, you know when to stop hitting her, because it's big and obvious.
And beautiful and purple.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then Lucio, Mercy, Symmetra, Zenyatta, we've all talked extensively about them. Anything else about the supports?
Wish there were more.
Yep.
I guess the next one that they've teased, kind of, sort of, apparently Sombra. And she's going to be a sniper support.
Sniper support, yeah.
That's either the character that was specifically built for me, or it's garbage. I'm not sure which.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Maybe she'll be like Predator. She'll have like nets and see-through walls and stuff.
Oh, built for me.
Ooh.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to hit someone with a heal from like really far away.
Alright, and real quick before we're out of here, maps. What do you guys think about the maps real quick? What ones suck? What ones are good? Still getting used to it?
Yeah, I'm still getting used to it. I mean, I've had some complaints about some of the ones in was it Greece, Ilos, I want to say.
Yeah.
But man, the visual design is so good that it's hard for me to stay mad. I love maps that are themed like that, like throwback Street Fighter Alpha 3 Cammy stage.
Yeah.
And the maps for Greece in this give me that very similar feeling, and I can't be mad at them even if maybe their design isn't as good.
I really like Hollywood.
I fucking love Hollywood. I think that's probably my favorite. That and is it Numbani or Volskaya? No, it's Numbani. Like, I like the payload maps, where the first thing you do is you run up to a point and you cap it, and then you have the payload. I think those are very fun. So yeah, Numbani and Hollywood.
That was really different.
And the map design is it's perfect. I mean, there's multiple paths that you can go around. The way forward is very clearly represented, where in some of the maps like the Greece one, it's hard to know exactly where forward is because there's so many little huts that you can cross through. I mean, which is great for assassins, but it's hard to keep track of where the fuck you are.
One of the things visual-wise they didn't lift from Team Fortress, like Team Fortress has a red side and a blue side. If you look around, I see blue in the distance, and I'm red team. That's where the enemy is. And there's no visual indicator of that sort in Overwatch. I haven't gotten to the point where I've been turned around so badly that I've walked towards enemy spawn, but I could see that happening.
Nepal, I think, is a big culprit. The Himalayas one, the Zenyatta map, because there's everything is just a box. Yeah, I'm usually pretty good at keeping myself oriented, but Nepal is just a box. All those maps are just a square. It's not dynamic. There's just not enough. There's not enough paths that you can run through.
Yeah, I would say the best maps are definitely the hybrid maps with the control point that go into payload.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I mean, it gives you two types of gameplay within one, but you still have to keep it together. Like, but I also like control maps. The ones where you're fighting over one single point, because those maps usually have fall offs, and then you can knock them off. That's the only reason I really like.
Yeah, those are the most rage-inducing too. Is because if your team can't team fight, or if you're not good at picking if you can't work cohesively for 10 seconds long enough to get the enemy team off the point, then you just don't make any ground. Whereas at least one person can push a payload, right? But you really have to be much more team-oriented on the central cap point maps.
Yeah, there's two central cap point maps that I really like, and I wish I could remember their names right now, but I can't.
Lijiang Tower?
Yeah, that's one.
In Nepal and Ilios are the other two.
There's more than that. I think there's 5 total, aren't there?
I think that's it for the contested cap points. There's like the offensive defense 1 cap point, or like 1 point.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
looking at it. I'm gonna have it up right now. So there's the assault maps: Hanamura, Temple of Anubis, and Volskaya Industries, and then control maps, escort maps, and hybrid maps. And each one has 3. So I mean, I think they have a good spread. There's not a game mode that I personally hate, even though some can be rage-inducing, like Jared says. I think they're all really well done and really help give a good flow to the gameplay.
I think Hanamura is the most rage-inducing because it's just 2 choke points. That's the entirety of the map. If you can get past a choke point, then it's over. It's really hard to come back from that. Offense has such, like, I don't know. If defense isn't set up perfect, then if you're not like 100% on defense, then offense can get through your choke point and then it's over.
Yeah, that second point especially. I've gotten shut out so many times.
But other than that, I feel like the other ones are pretty well balanced. Like, oh man, it's just the first spot on Hanamura. There's no way that you can flank. There's 2 openings, and that's it.
Yeah,
it's
you have
rough.
to play certain characters to get to one of them.
Yeah. Alright, well, I think that covers most of it.
Yeah, I'd say I talked about everything that I wanted to. You guys?
Yeah, that was a good first impression. I think we should come back to this in like a month.
Yeah, definitely. I'm hoping that at least within a month they'll give us some idea of what's the future of Overwatch, because that's what I'm really excited about.
Yeah, we got to talk about longevity. Do you guys want to do that now? We're over the hour mark. We're like an hour 6.
I mean, I think it's too early to tell, to be completely honest. I mean, everyone's super hype about Overwatch, this bright, shiny new thing, and I'm really not thinking about how long it's going to last, because it's not something that I'm thinking about. It's like I'm going, of course it's I'm playing it right now. Like, why do I need to even worry about it?
Right now it's fine, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think there's 2 things that the game will need, and it's just like general things that are in Blizzard games that Blizzard will definitely add in the future, and I think they kind of coincide. And one of them is daily quests, which, you know, just give people 10 currency or whatever for doing a daily quest, just because people need that little carrot on a stick, right? You shouldn't have to have a daily quest to entice you to play a game, but just that little bit extra encourages you to come back to it all the time. And then the second thing, I think, is different level brackets, because there's going to be times where somebody who's level 50 is going to get matched up with someone who's level 2. The matchmaking is going to do that at some point, where in like most MMOs and other games, you know, once you hit a certain level threshold, like we'll take Diablo for example, once you hit max level, then you can go into Torments. But people who are below max level can't do anything above Torment 1. But you can still keep raising your Paragon level, and I think that's a perfect mechanic for this game, but they need to have some kind of level like section where you get grouped with only certain people within this level unless you're in a party.
Yeah, it'd be nice if it based just off your rank, like 1 to 10, you're in a 1 to 10 bracket, 11 to 20, you're in the 11 to 20 bracket.
I don't know, it's hard to do that when you're trying to find 12 people to get into a match. Some of them may be in parties. You know, some of them may had bad connections to you. So I think in casual play and quick play, we're going to see matchmaking, of course. We absolutely are. There's going to be, you know, something in place to kind of keep a level 50 from steamrolling a level 2. But for the most part, I think what we have now is what we're going to get until you go into like ranked mode.
Yeah, I think sometime down the line they will end up adding some kind of level, I don't know, just groups, some level groups. But when we play Here's the Storm, right, I'm pretty low level and Tino's max level. And when we get in a party, we're mostly up against other people who are max level with like a level 1 or level 3 guy thrown in there just to balance the MMR. And that's fine. That's fine when you're in a party. But when you're just in quick play with nobody else, it shouldn't be matching you with people who are way lower skill level than you. So I think eventually, once people have gotten up to that point, then they'll end up doing that. Because, yeah 12 people is a lot.
When we come back to this in a month, that'll be something that we can actually discuss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be just about wrap it up for us. Thank you for listening. You can always tune into the Awesome Analysis, which is our main podcast where we talk about games and comics and everything else. Once again, thank you for listening and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.